My name is Zixuan Wang, a senior high school student of Shenzhen Foreign Languages School. Shenzhen is one of the richest cities in the world. I was born and grew up here, but it was not until I was in high school that I learned a group of people with little income gathered in Shenzhen. It was called Jingle New Village, an urban village with the size of a football field. Because of its proximity to Sanhe Human Resources Market, this group of people is known as the Sanhe Gods. At first, I heard about them on the internet, and I checked their speeches and discussions on the BBS, where they were actively engaged. From their speeches, you would think of them as nihilists, the dice, and the feelists who see life as a farce. Their values are dramatically and diametrically opposed to those of other communities, which made me curious and determined to go to Jingle New Village to observe, understand, and get to know them. Jingle New Village is about 20 kilometers away from the downtown of Shenzhen. It is a typical urban village. In the past decade, a large number of similar urban villages have been demolished and transformed into new urban areas. Like any other place in Shenzhen, Jingle New Village is surrounded by luxury shopping malls, modern subway stations and viaducts, which makes the dilapidated and shabby village look like a scar of the city and creates conditions for the gathering of Sanhe Gods. Here, you can easily distinguish the ordinary citizens from Sanhe Gods. Apart from cheap clothes and sloppy looks, Sanhe Gods are slow in moving and casual in expression. They often squat on the side of the road, eating, play mobile games, or dozing off. What's remarkable about Sanhe Gods is that they don't seem to have a sense of purpose. Unlike their self-confidence, pride, and calm displayed on the internet, Sanhe Gods are not willing to show their personality in life. When I was shooting with a team of 2 high school students, they would avoid the camera. Some even came to ask whether they would be shown in the video and ask us to delete that. These signs show that we needed a more secretive way to capture their real lives. The community has a single industry structure, with shops including cyber cafes, cheap hotels, and restaurants, as well as private convenience stores. Like Sanhe Gods, these bosses are alert to outsiders because the products and services they provide seem to be in a gray area. Our team tried to buy a bottle of mineral water with an unknown brand, but no one wanted to drink it. The entrance of Jingle New Village is very close to that of Sanhe Human Resources Market, but both are independent. For Sanhe Gods, going out of the village to the talent market means the change of life. For some people, this is awakening, but for others, it is depravity. Sanhe Gods resist the human resources market because the jobs offered there are long-term workers, and the jobs they want are paid by day. It's normal for them to work one day and take 6 days off. The agency personnel of day workers are scattered around the human resources market to talk with Sanhe Gods in secret. If there are police or security guards passing by, agents must flee. With the outbreak of COVID-19, everything changed. Forced by life, many Sanhe Gods left. Billboards next to the entrance to the Jingle New Village are full of notices from internet cafes and hotel owners who warn Sanhe Gods that if they couldn't take away the things they have stored, these things would be discharged as garbage. However, the remaining Sanhe Gods are facing a new problem. That is, it is no longer easy for them to enter the Jingle community, and the security guards at the gate require incomers a residence certificate, which Sanhe Gods cannot provide. Some had to climb over the fence in order to return to the community. Others would wait for the security guards to leave in the early morning before entering the community. Beer is the high-end consumer goods of Sanhe Gods. They often squat on the roadside to drink a few bottles and then fall asleep. The quarantine measures under the pandemic created a sense of doomsday. This makes Sanhe Gods more willing to get drunk than usual. At the same time, some gods with empty wallets have to prepare for jobs in the human resources market. However, for a long time after the epidemic crisis, Sanhe human resources market was still closed, and even managers did not know when it would be resumed. However, the business of cybercafe has not been affected by the pandemic. After the early morning, when the supervision is relaxed, cybercafe would be overcrowded. For most of the Sanhe Gods, the nihility of the network is the focus, and even everything of their life. Many people eat, sleep, and live in internet cafes, which could further reduce the cost of living. During the pandemic, many of the previous owners returned to the urban villages around Jingle New Village, and the open area was filled with luxury cars such as BMW and Mercedes-Benz. Although Sanhe Gods live with the lowest consumption, it is in general still an economically developed area. The rich here are willing to accept the low-end lifestyle and don't care about decency at all. Luxury cars and dirty food stalls, foraging wildcats, as well as down-to-earth vagabonds, blend together to constitute a picture of the bottom of life. After a long wait, Sanhe Human Resources Market finally opened in the late spring. The news spread on BBS, where Sanhe Gods gathered. My team and I decided to take a look. The biggest difference from what it was before the pandemic is that the number of people in Sanhe Human Resources Market has been greatly reduced. Job agents gathered for chit-chat and occasionally answered questions from job seekers. Agents are not as enthusiastic as they used to be, and their attitudes become negative. The employers of job advertisements have a lot of common ground. They are basically located in remote places, recruiting people for factories producing parts or accessories for some high-end manufacturing enterprises, such as well-known companies in the field of mobile phones, communications, new energy vehicles. Recruitment agents clearly know Sanhe God's demands for daily paid work, so they highlight hourly wages in conspicuous places ranging from 16 to 20 yuan. In fact, if a job seeker can't do the minimum working days required by the factory, which is usually 45 to 60 days, he will not be fully paid. Employers will send minibuses to send job seekers who are interested to the factory to visit their future workplace. Why don't employers send human resource representatives to the market? According to the recruitment advertisement, if workers can still get a salary of 6,000 to 8,000 yuan after the provided accommodation, then their net income will exceed that of ordinary white-collar workers. All kinds of signs show that most of the recruitment advertisements exaggerate the work remuneration and conceal the work intensity, which makes workers generally quit after a short period of time. New workers must be sent to the factory every day through recruitment agents. When people enter and exit the Sanhe human resources market, the individual recruitment agents that provide daily wage gather around with the owners of cheap hotels, waiting for guests. Their interests are tied up with each other, and the day workers must find a shelter. As a matter of fact, the owners of Jingle New Village often have multiple identities. They can independently provide an industrial chain to solve the problems of Sanhe Gods: eating, living, entertaining, and working. The boss of cyber cafes also offers cheap single rooms and nighttime snack at the same time. They know how to make money from low-income people. At the end of the night, Jingle New Village falls into silence. At this time, those who still wander the streets are Sanhe Gods. When you appear on the street at the same time, they will think that they have met people of their kind. Their behavioral pattern is the same as daytime: loitering, drinking, or squatting in the corner, playing with mobile phones. For a long time, I'm not satisfied with trying to guess their inner thoughts through their performance on the internet and their behaviors in life. I hope they can tell me what they really think. Finally, I got to know a Mr. Liu, who was willing to open his heart to me. He called himself a bankrupt BoJack horseman. He used to run a small-sized English tutoring company. During the pandemic, he joined a group of Sanhe Gods in order to escape from millions yuan of personnel debts. In my remote interview with him, he showed me a BMW key.
I have accepted my present identity, and this key represents my past.
He believed that the dream of the middle class was nothing but a trap, and he's living an authentic life now.
When my company was in crisis, I had no way to raise money from the bank. Ironically, some jewelry companies can help me get loans from big banks, such as Ping An Bank. In fact, this is a trap set up jointly by banks and jewelry companies. The bank charged me high interest in the name of handling fees, service charges, and insurance, while the jewelry company took half of my loan.
He said that most of the Sanhe Gods are burdened with debts that cannot be paid back. The current living conditions are both their active choice and the price they pay.
I have done many kinds of work here, such as doing cleaning at a place. Although the income is meager, it brings more happiness than the high profits in business in the past.
The reason why Sanhe Gods call themselves gods is that they could live in the most prosperous cities with the lowest expenses. They often compare with who spends less. Mr. Liu showed me some skills, such as renting a cheap single room with another person. He lives by day, and the other at night.
The owner of the cheap hotel knows our trip, but she won't embarrass us.
Even though it seemed inconceivable, Mr. Liu insisted that he could experience happiness from it and explain it to me.
It's a pleasure to spend less. Maybe you'll spend millions of yuan on buying a house, but there's no essential difference between what I do in my house and what you do in your house. Sleep, rest, eat, and entertain. You're lying in bed with your cell phone as I do, right? The lack of material makes me easier to be satisfied, and material desire can lead people into a circle of pain.
In the commercial society, even proletarians like Sanhe Gods have commercial value. Mr. Liu told me that this value often improves the life of Sanhe Gods. Some ad promoters have targeted Sanhe Gods as their target consumers and have a good relationship with them. Usually, if new users download and register some new apps, developers will give them some gifts. The general public will not pay attention to the promotion staff, so they need Sanhe Gods to help them achieve their KPI targets. Mr. Liu soon showed me how it worked. Hema Fresh is an app offering fresh food delivery developed by Ma Yun. The promotion staff explained to Mr. Liu that the download registration could be deleted immediately, and the gift was very generous. The convenience store has become a transit stop for gifts. Sanhe Gods exchange the things they didn't need, such as grain and oil, for things they needed, such as drinks and beer. This has formed a logistics chain that is not seen in economics textbooks. Besides working occasionally, Sanhe Gods has a way to make money by selling his valuable things, such as mobile phones. The mobile phone shops around Jingle New Village have announced in conspicuous places that they are recycling old mobile phones at high prices. Mr. Liu would go to several more mobile phone stores, using the information obtained to raise prices.
In fact, my most valuable thing is a wedding ring with a diamond. When will I sell it? When I decide to be a normal person, I will need some money at that time.
When I asked what was the happiest thing as a Sanhe God, Mr. Liu's answer was representative.
It's warmth. I get much more respect there than I used to be as a boss. We recognized our identity and supported each other. Yeah.
In the eyes of ordinary people, poverty is a passive choice. But to Sanhe Gods, poverty is their active choice. In order to prove it, they choose to do their activities next door to the Sanhe Human Resources Market. It seems that they just need to go out and enter the neighboring door to live a decent life. Here, the space is symmetrical. One side is lazy, the other is busy. One side is static, the other is flow. The space where Sanhe Gods live is so strange that I call it Heterotopia. It is completely reversed with reality. The discriminated become respected. The rejected become praised. It is like a homeless shelter that does not need funding because its unique cultural attributes play a role that ordinary communities do not have. Its entrance is also an exit. To go in means to be a Sanhe God, and to go out means to be an ordinary person. People will not have desires for delicious food, sex, and luxury goods in Jingle New Village. But once they go out, these desires come back to people. Sanhe Gods are different from the poor in the real sense. They belong to a cultural phenomenon, an economic phenomenon contrary to consumerism, and the sociological phenomenon of nihilism. Perhaps the Sanhe God is a kind of reflection rooted in our hearts. It arises in us when we become worn out, when we doubt, when we are decadent, and when we want to be detached.